if a disaster happens anywhere in the world, a terrorist attack, anything, it's showing up on Twitter and Facebook news feeds within minutes.
Yeah.
So we're getting inundated with all of this, all these disasters, which probably have been happening throughout the course of human history, except not reported on half the time. And now it's instantaneous on our phone. So it's really easy to get caught up in that media stream and be like, oh man, the sky is falling.
Yeah, it's addictive. And you want to live other people's realities. And so, look, news organizations, I mean, they might as well be drug dealers on the corner. They're not your friends. They're there to try to occupy your headspace. It's like James Altucher said he once, worked in a newsroom, and he said, Brian, it's like Halloween every day, because we're trying to scare you with something crazy every single day.
And that's their intention.
Yeah, that's their intention. That probably has nothing to do with you. Okay, there's a tsunami in Thailand. It's bad, but it doesn't actually have anything to do with you. And by you giving it some headspace, along with the other 400 disasters and the girl that got killed and the da-da-da-da-da-da-da, it just takes you away from your life. And so the funny thing about our Life Accelerator course is when we talked about diet, people are like, oh yeah, I know I shouldn't eat sugar. But when you tell them that newspaper that's free on the bus, or the news channel that's free, or the Twitter feed that's free, is just as dangerous as that chocolate or that whatever, people don't realize it because media, it's something new, right? I mean, the last 20, 30 years, we didn't have it kind of coming into our heads everywhere.
Well, we had it through certain channels. We had it through radio, TV, newspapers.
Yeah.
That was basically it. Yeah. Very controlled.
Which you couldn't access in your bed at night or first thing in the morning,
Looking on your phone right away.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's crazy.
And I'm just curious in your thoughts on this. And this is that Trump is basically attacking mainstream media, and now that personally, I don't know what to think or what to believe about anything that guy says about anything. However, is there any validity in your eyes around the idea that the mainstream media isn't serving people?
So it's really funny you said that. I do look in at the New York Times, right? It's one of the few publications I look in. I also realize, though, they're massively biased. They're very liberal. They, before the election, I thought they really weren't reporting even Trump and Clinton in a correct way. And I don't believe in everything they do. But one of their reporters said, I took a week off of Trump in the news. And it was really funny. It was almost their low media diet, where they didn't actually listen to any Trump news for like a week. And then one of them also said that Trump is actually the most reported person in our history of the newspaper. No one in the history of time has been as reported as Trump, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. I mean, maybe if there were newspapers and websites around the time of Genghis Khan or Hitler, maybe he would have been. But Trump now, it's like every single day he's top-rated news. You could argue all the media companies' stock prices went up by 20% with the Trump phenomenon, because for the next 4 years, they're just going to be reporting on him. So first of all, we have to recognize that while maybe he's attacking mainstream media, he's also the greatest thing that ever happened to them. So that's on one stance.
Yeah.
Then you got a sitting president who uses Twitter. You got a sitting president who seems to encourage misinformation, which is fascinating. Mm-hmm. You've got a guy who also seems to not want to use the mainstream media and just go direct with, a press conference or a tweet on his own. And a guy who I think is really erratic, maybe dangerously so, but also a guy who's going to shake up all of the stuff that's been happening in Washington, business as usual for the last 50 years. So at one chance, I'm excited. I do think he's pro-business, but I also think that I might wake up tomorrow and he might do something really erratic. Well, like bomb North Korea, and I'm like, maybe we shouldn't do that.
I'm not concerned about him bombing or pressing the button on a nuke or something like that. I don't think anybody's that crazy anymore.
I don't think he will. But he's the closest person that would, is all I say.
Maybe. Him or Putin, probably. But the thing about them is that they all have the same business interests. They're all kind of on the same team managing this global system that we have now, right? I don't think any of them are crazy enough to push the button. You might get some rogue state that might do it, or a terrorist organization, but other than that, I don't see that happening. What my concern with him is, and actually Daniele Bellelli told me about this when I interviewed him.
I love him, man.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Went to his house in LA.
Did you? Yeah, definitely check out his pod. History on Fire is amazing. Yeah. Or the Drunken Taoist. Yeah, he's like, the Clinton administration would be driving the State of the Union, the economy off the cliff at 80 miles an hour. The Trump administration is driving everything off the cliff at 180 miles an hour, in terms of environmental impact, right? Because we know what we're doing right now as a society can't continue. We know this fact. It's very obvious. There's something like a 97% scientific consensus right now that human beings are responsible for global warming.
Not
right?
according to Trump.
Not according to Trump,
Or Dan
but across
Pena.
Dan Pena, but across the scientific community, 97% consensus, which apparently is very rare and never really happens.
Okay. Yeah,
so it's like,
it.
now we have this guy who's pro-business, might be good for the economy in the short term, but what about the long term? What about the future of everybody, the future of humanity? This is one thing I think, like as a parent, that concerns me quite a bit. What kind of a world are we going to be handing over to our children? We know right now that if we stopped all like fossil fuel consumption and emissions and everything like that, the world's still going to heat up for another 50 years. So what do? How do we make a shift away from this complete addiction of fossil fuel energy, which is what has developed the entire West? The West, as it is today, wouldn't be here the way it is if it wasn't for fossil fuel consumption. But now we know that we have to do something different. So how do we make that shift as a society or as a person to do something different that's going to be better for the long run?
Yeah, and I'm guessing you guys are going to be talking about that on Vancouver Real for the next few years.
Continue watching this fascinating conversation for free by clicking on the link below to visit our website, learn from the best minds in the world, and connect with a community of passionate people building the best versions of themselves. Just click on the link below, and I'll see you on the inside.